Good morning, guys. This is your shop teacher, and today I'm going to give you guys some updates on the progress of this 14-foot Allison race boat. So as far as the steering and controls go, been working on that a little bit. The boat didn't originally have a foot throttle in it, so that was installed. I had to cut some of the bulkhead out and add a little extension piece. I'm not very tall, so otherwise my feet would not reach the pedal. What else are we talking about? So the steering, I went with a Hydra Drive steering hydraulic steering kit, and they're kind of new on the market, but I just thought I'd give them a try, and the price was right. So besides that, I originally ordered this really cheap steering wheel. Thought that it would be okay, but the issue is that ergonomically it's really not close enough when I'm sitting in the seat, and also it's a little bit too close to my knees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install this steering wheel here, which I like the looks of it better. It's pretty cool. And then I'm going to use this hub adapter to add a bit of, well, it's a spacer. It's going to bring the steering wheel out. And because of the angle of the dash, it's also going to bring it up. So we're going to have the hub adapter. We've also got from eBay the C-Star trim. Is it C-Star or is it Teleflex trim system? Bought that used. And with those changes, also I need to, forgot to mention, I need to, I have ordered a marine hub adapter for the 3/4 inch tapered shaft, which will also add length to this hub extension as well. So that's the steering setup. I'm gonna, just as we're talking about that, I might as well go back and talk about the Hydro Drive system and what it looks like. All right, so this was the first time I've installed a hydraulic steering system. It wasn't too bad to install. Everything went together fine. When I ordered the system, I had to measure how long I needed for the hoses. I added a bit of extra length, which seemed to work out pretty well. And so I've got the original steering arm here from the Yamaha, and this is what the cylinder looks like. So you've got your two hoses that come in, one that pushes the cylinder to one side and one that pushes it to the other to turn the motor. The only thing that I probably will do is final bleeding. So once it gets warmer out, I think I'll spend some time bleeding the system and getting all the air bubbles out, and hopefully have a little bit tighter system in terms of steering precision. So when I turn the wheel, let's see here, you can see it's there, but I would like to see a bit more precision than that, and pretty sure that bleeding it will help that out. And at the back of the boat here, I installed a passenger seat. So that was a bit of a project unto itself. So I took the driver's seat and I made a copy of it. It's a pretty simple seat, just has a fiberglass shell attached to a plywood base. So I covered the old seat, stripped it right down to obviously having no vinyl on it, and then I made a shell around it with fiberglass. First I put a pallet wrap over top so it wouldn't stick, made a shell, and then separated it, popped it out of the mold per se, and then I continued to make the seat, so the second seat. So that's the second one there, and it's set up so it's on a piano hinge. So you can see here it folds like so, and exposes the gas tank, and I can get to things back there pretty easily. Along the same lines at the back of the boat here, I also put new rigging boots on just to kind of clean things up. And previously everything was coming out of this one here, so I added the one in the middle just for the fuel line and the battery cables. Speaking of the battery, I had this battery tray here made by Baker DM, and so I'm going to be installing that at the transom, along with a interstate garden tractor battery that I bought. Basically, I just looked for the highest cranking amps garden tractor battery, and hopefully that's going to do the job. But it's a work in progress, and we'll see how things go. All right, so updates on the motor itself. I sanded and stripped all the decals and just came up with my own Yamaha VMAX 1.1 liter design in Photoshop, and then I have a vinyl graphics machine, so I cut everything out as per the design, and then I put some little details like the black painted lower unit, and then the Yamaha emblems front and back. Gonna be honest with you, I'm not really happy with how my spray can paint job went, but more details on that later. I may try to put some clear coat on it, get it a little glossier. We'll see. There are priorities, and how everything looks is important, but not as important how it runs. Speaking of which, I haven't run the motor yet. When I picked the motor up, I did a compression test. Everything turned out great. Just for my peace of mind, when I got it home, took the head off, checked all the cylinders, everything looks clean inside, put a new head gasket back on and retorqued. And then the only other thing I'm doing in terms of upgrades is over here. I've got the reed cages out, and what I've done is I've put some Chris Carson Marine reeds in there, so you can see the composite reeds are installed, and I'm pretty much ready now for everything to go back in. A little note on this: if you're ever doing that, make sure you order a gasket ahead of time. So this guy here, make sure you order that gasket, because you'll more than likely destroy the gasket taking everything apart. But besides that, it's a pretty straightforward job. Put Loctite on these fasteners when it goes back together. But other than that, that's kind of the motor. So let's talk about props. So this is my best guess. I'm just trying to find a lake prop. This is a 24 laser 2. All right, so my calculations say that it's a good first guess. Okay, I've also got a 24 pitch trophy, which is a 4-blade, so I'm going to try that as well. Before I get into anything that's really expensive in terms of props, this is my best guess, and we'll just kind of go from there. Also from Baker DM, I've got some brackets here. So with the setback spacers, I was really looking for the minimum amount of setback. So these brackets just bring the motor up, because it is a pretty short transom and this is a 20-inch motor. One day I'd like to have a short shaft motor, and then that would just complete the look of it, in my opinion. But for now, yeah, it's gonna work as is, and I got my best guess for engine height and we'll just kind of make adjustments depending on how it runs. So the other thing I've been working on with Baker DM is a drag plate design. So I kind of have in my head some ideas of what I wanted, so I started with this cardboard template. All right, so I've got something that fits pretty good, and so what I did, so I just kind of figured out, okay, I want my drag plate to look like so, and then I took the dimensions from it. So once I figured out how it fits around the gear case and everything, then I took some measurements and of this template, and then I opened up AutoCAD, and it's been a while since I've used AutoCAD, so it took a while to get that drawn up. Sent it over to Brent, and he had it cut out, and it's going to be aluminum. So I believe he was able to use a water jet for that process. Otherwise, if it was a stainless one, then he would have used a laser. So anyway, this is the drag plate design, and so I got to go pick this up shortly and look at mounting that as well. So that's a big part of the drag racing part right there. And because you got to get the boat launching properly, right? So there's that, there's the prop, there's the motor, some of the upgrades, most of which I don't have the money to do at this point. But we'll get there. Just make little changes, see how it works, and hopefully come up with something that's competitive. So that's more or less the end of the motor updates at this point. So for gauges, pretty basic setup here. I just have a Mercury 10K tack. I don't expect to see 10K, but I do expect this thing's going to rev pretty good from what I understand. And then I've also got a new water pressure gauge, and of course the anodized trim bezels always make things look fancy. And as well, I've checked the trim, so I have actually had to put some fluid in the trim system to get it working properly. So I'm going to keep an eye on it and just see. I may need to do a seal kit at some point for the trim. But yeah, other than that, I had some old rigging, braided rigging hose. What do you call that? Rigging something anyway, that a neighbor of mine gave me. So just put that over the cables just to clean things up. So it's coming along. Everything's, not perfect. This is not a showpiece, this boat, okay? So I did do a freshening up of the paint and got it looking fairly decent. I like my sticker machine, so I added some Allison stickers as well, both on the side and your typical Allison hull sticker as well. As far as the trailer goes too, I guess now that we're down here, it's a decent little trailer, nothing wrong with it. I added some new fenders because the old ones were pretty ugly, and I also went over all the bearings because I want to be towing this thing reliably. Re-greased everything, double checked to make sure the bearings are in good shape. So the other thing I'd like to mention, I am looking for, obviously you can never have enough props, but for drag racing, which I intend to do with this boat, I'm looking for a 20 pitch Yamaha drag. So if anybody knows of one available, I am probably going to go to the marina and order a brand new one, but they're pretty expensive. So if I can find something used for a little cheaper, I'll do that, but I'm fully ready to do that. I have sold my my hydroplane race boat, or at least one of them, So we're not out of the hydroplane racing, but we've sold one of the boats, the one that I usually run, because I want to go. I fully want to get into this drag racing with this boat here. I miss driving a V-bottom. That's where I started out in racing, and I'd like to just make a go of this and see how it goes, and keep improving and making it faster and quicker. So anyways, thanks guys. Have a great day. We'll see you guys later. Keep in touch. Subscribe for the next set of updates coming, and we'll hopefully get this thing on the water soon. So take care. See you later.